Good evening again. So we were brainstorming about this AI in education and possibly in jobs, and that's where I landed up your tweets, couple of tweets. One I saw on jobs and then education, and few I really impressed with the kind of content which I'm not going to share. Of course, you have to share with the audience. I really liked few of the idea, and that's where we thought you are going to be who other than Hitesh sir for this topic. So help me welcoming officially Hitesh Oberoi sir, co-promoter, managing director and CEO, InfoEdge, a force behind .com revolution in that sense. Over 2 decades now, you name it, from jobs to education to matrimony to real estate as a operator. But not only that, a great investor from Zomato, Policy Bazaar to n number of companies, and of course Meritto too. So with that, I open the stage because would love to understand your experience, sir. And pretty simple, right? Do you use ChatGPT or any other?
Is there anybody who doesn't use ChatGPT or any of these tools anymore?
हम करते हैं सर. आपका मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ. What kind of stuff you do on ChatGPT or any other tool?
You know, all kinds of things. Actually, I think ChatGPT knows more about me than anybody else in this world today. Because, you know, like I think you were saying or somebody else was saying, it's not judgmental. You can, you know, share everything with ChatGPT or with Claude or any other tool out there. And so I've been doing all kinds of things. Like, for example, I played tennis. I had a tennis elbow issue a few months back, and I went and met a couple of orthopedics, but, you know, it wasn't helping. And then I got some physiotherapy also done. And then I started interacting with Grok. Grok is the Twitter sort of. Yeah. So, and it gave me very, you know, good answers. And I was, and it was, not only did it give me good answers, it started motivating me, and it started giving me action plans. Okay, listen, this is what you should do right now, and maybe this is what you should do after a month, and this is what you could feel. And as I gave it more information about how sort of I was progressing, the answers started getting better and better. So that's just one example, and I can give you complex examples. You know, even stuff like, of course, all of us use, I'm sure, use it to write better emails sometimes. Like you know, once in a while I get requests to write recommendation letters for people. So, you know, previously it used to take me a long time. Ke yaar, kab karenge? One would procrastinate. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, yaar, just send me a note on yourself and then feed it and then I get something. And then I edit it and then send it, right? So all kinds of things. Even, you know, I have 2 daughters, and they are 23 and 21, and they often get upset. You know, like all kids do when parents talk to them. Sometimes now I also take advice from ChatGPT. Ke this meko ye bolna hai, to main kaise bolu? So that meant kids don't get upset. So even that kind of stuff. So I'm doing all kinds of things on ChatGPT. Yeah.
No doubt about it. In fact, other day I was chatting with Suraj. When we plan holidays, the biggest headache which I feel personally, कि यार who is going to search, कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है, कौन logistic plan करेगा, and that is the reason I end up not planning. So this time I randomly GPT पे मैंने डाला, do one thing, 2 couple, 3 kids, should be a good temperature, less travel. I mean it, and really I booked that plan, and should be less travel because one is toddler, and we should not be applying for any visa. I'm better off any location, and give me that plan along with the distance, whether the veg food is available in the hotel or not, in a table format. So I got 2 options. Literally, I got 2 options. GPT suggested me 2 options. One is Northeast, because I mentioned the weather. I was talking about the June, and the second is Sri Lanka. And I beautifully got everything in a table. The location, you should take this flight, land here, travel time this hotel, yes, you are going to get veg food and everything. Maila book kar lete hain, boss ho gaya kaam, right? So we all know, right? It's lovely. On other notes, sir, while on the serious side, with the agentic AI coming in, companies like us, you and lot more launching the real serious productivity tool. Do you see this becoming a reality where even the organizations, the corporates, and the institution per se start thinking about reorganizing their team structure, or maybe having a virtual team member as a part of their teams?
Yeah, I think it's already happening as we speak. You know, I'll give you an example. There's a friend of mine who's in the US, and he's doing a startup in the US. And so I was chatting with him. I said, "Yaar, tu kya kar raha hai?" Kehta hai, and this is about a year back. And you know, see, with AI, things are changing so rapidly that my understanding of AI is very different from my understanding of what my understanding of AI was 2 years ago. Right? Things are moving so rapidly. So I was chatting with him. He said, "Yaar, I'm doing a digital twin startup." मैंने कहा, "Boss, ये digital twin क्या करेगा?" कहता है, and this guy is he's himself from the recruitment space. So he said, "Yeah, listen, the number one first use case I'm working on is that every employee in every company will have a digital twin." Right? So I said, "So what does that mean?" He said, "Yeah, your digital twin will have access to everything on your computer, everything in your email, etc." So today, for example, when employees resign, you know, you make them serve a 3-month notice period, there's knowledge transfer, you have to hire a new person, and then, you know, you say, "Acha, isko sikhao, ye khao." He said, "Yeah, if once this is done, then, you know, whatever that employee has done in the past will be in that AI. And any new employee will be able to come in and sort of start taking over from day one. And therefore, the company will save a lot of money, and this is the first use case. And of course, the second use case could be, you reply, "Hitesh, I see you, you're already always on your phone, you're distracted, you're replying to messages. Yeah, ये आपको digital twin कर देगा. You don't have to tell people where your house is, where your office is, you know, etc. All kinds of things happen all the time. So this is, as we speak, already sort of there are people working on it. And this is an extreme case, of course, but inside every company now, I think what's going to increasingly happen is that there is stuff which AI will do. Right? And it's already happening as we speak. There is some low-end work, routine work, which, you know, you will say, AI will take care of itself. There is some, of course, the strategic work, the creative work, the, you know, high-touch work, as opposed to the high-tech work, will be done by humans. And then for everything in between, you know, humans will be working with AI. And that's going to happen, and it's already happening. And you know, I was chatting with somebody in our company also the other day, and we were like, "Yeah, AI for productivity is now reasonably well understood. You can use AI to become more productive, but that's linear sort of, you know, improvement. You know, get a 20% kicker, 10% kicker, 5% kicker, depending on, you know, how productive the AI makes you. But if we really want to change the game, you know, then, and make it non-linear, right? Then you may have to organize yourself as a company differently. अभी क्या होता है, for example, in product development, in every company, including ours, you know, पहले वो designer makes something, then he'll send it to the tech team, then the tech team will say, "अच्छा ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, change this, change that," then they develop something, then it goes to QC, you know, there are all kinds of things, the whole process can sometimes take months to get anything out. Now with AI, actually, they could all sit together in just one cubicle and say, "Okay, here is the first output, you go, okay, change this, put it into the AI, here is the second one, cut. Now, so, you know, these silos which companies operate in today could disappear tomorrow, for all you know, right? I mean, but of course, there's a lot of change management, a lot of resistance, and with every new technology, I must also warn you, where it's very easy to get carried away, but it's true that people overestimate how much things will change in the short term, but always underestimate how much they will change in the long term.
Yes.
Yeah. So that will happen with AI as well.
So on other note, sir, when we are talking about that, right? So let's take an example of sports system, which even I was explaining. A AI agent may automate 70-80% of your sport ticket, and then you might end up looking to high 20%, which are more complex in nature or may require human manpower. But in that case, the replacement per se, if we call it replacement, of that 70-80% of bandwidth, is it going to be lesser than what we are going to spend on AI? The reason I am for the larger audience, the reason I'm putting it on the table is, in the US, the cost advantage is different. Replacing a sport agent, a sport human might be like $50, $60, $70,000, but in India, it might be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lakh. So is it going to really work in context of India, Are people going to spend that much money on AI? How do you kind of
I think
think
it
about
will.
it?
I think it will because, firstly, a lot of those US jobs are have been outsourced to India anyway, right? So it's not as if they are paying $70,000
Yeah.
for customer support agents. Increasingly, many of those jobs are being outsourced to countries like India. Number one. Number two, if you look at AI costs, the costs have been falling, right? And this happens like solar was a new technology once upon a time. Solar costs were very high. But over the last 5-10 years, solar costs have fallen. The cost of generating solar energy has fallen dramatically over the years. Same thing happened to computing costs, right?
Absolutely.
In, 20 years ago, 30 years ago also, it used to cost 50,000 rupees to buy a computer. 30 years later, computers are available, with 4 times the compute, 10 times the memory, 20 times everything else at half that price, right? So the AI costs have already started falling. And there's competition from countries like China, from many other places. So I suspect, this will continue. And it's good for us in the sense that we don't want to pay very high prices for AI. And of course, you can trust Indians to negotiate hard with all the foreign vendors. What CRM vendors charge in the US is very different from what CRM vendors charge in India.
Yeah.
What ERP vendors, ERP companies charge in the US is very different from what ERP companies charge in India. We all know that. Right?
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's possible to get huge discounts in India.
Yeah. So at InfoA's side, be it Naukri or your platforms, what kind of investment, at first place, are you making any investment internally for any sort of products? And if so, what kind of investment you made? Are you able to see any kind of outcome which you can share with?
In AI?
Yeah, in AI.
Yeah. So we started investing in AI before it was called AI. So it used to be called, we used to use terms like analytics, then predictive analytics, then machine learning. Okay, and so we started building an AI or machine learning team almost 10, 12 years ago. We, in fact, acquired a semantic search company almost 12 years ago. There were 2 guys from IIT. It was called semantic search, it was not called AI at that time. And then we were playing around a little bit. And till about 5 years ago, we had a 12, 14 member team, right? Which was, doing a lot of algorithmic work. The chart you put up, traditional AI.
Yeah.
They were doing traditional machine learning, playing around with models and so on and so forth. About 5 years ago, we started expanding that team. So we got a new head of AI and we started, hiring more and more people in that team. And in the beginning, this just worked on just improving our recommendation engines, improving our search engine, improving our matching engines, which is actually the core of our platform. Because in Naukri, in 99 acres, we get millions of jobs, we get millions of job seekers. We have to show the right job to the right job seeker. And similarly, recruiters are hiring through our platform, we get millions of searches, the database size is 100 million resumes. So we need to show, when Microsoft searches for a candidate, we need to show them different candidates from when Infosys searches, even for the same skill, because the kind of people they're looking for are different. So the first 3-4 years, I think we just sort of worked very hard on improving our matching algorithms. Even in Jeevan Saathi, for example, how do you match people on the platform? And it started working really well for us. We saw 15-20% kicker everywhere in all our metrics, which is huge when in a company of our scale and size, right? So the number of acceptances, matches we were enabling in Jeevan Saathi went up like this. The number of applications on the Naukri platform have skyrocketed. So everywhere, we started seeing benefits. And as we started seeing more and more benefit and more ROI, we started scaling up the team. So today, that 12-member team has grown to 120 people.
Wow.
Okay.
Looking into AI side of products.
Yeah, on the AI side of products. And now they have graduated. So they started with this, and now they're building new features, they're building new products. So we've also launched our agentic recruitment sort of version. To help companies hire people, candidates quickly. We've launched data products because we're sitting on a lot of proprietary database data in Naukri. So we've launched data products we are monetizing with companies. If you want to understand what's happening to salaries, what's happening to the talent market, et cetera, all that, those reports we offer. Previously, companies, used to find very hard to get this data. They had to go to consulting firms like Mercer and others to get these reports, and they were very expensive, so not many companies could afford them. Today we offer them these reports, virtually online. They can log and just check out what's happening. And so there's just so much more which is possible
Absolutely.
today, which the team is working on. So we are investing a lot.
Yeah, so from 12 to 120 people already in info is coding, building, and I'm assuming these are high-end engineers, possibly, or the product guys, right? So you can
Expensive
imagine
people.
what future looks like. Sorry.
Expensive people.
Yeah, expensive. That's what Sundarendra Sunani. So the kind of future look like. Companies are really now. When I was explaining, it's no more about noise. People are really serious about building the product so that because we have first-hand seen the kind of outcome as a consumer, and companies have relied. So I sometimes jokingly discuss with my R&D team that come 9 and 12 months, you will see people on road selling AI agents, and the pitch is going to be some sort of, that's going to be some sort of hard reality, of course, plus and minus, but they are going to talk about replace this and take that. And, sorry, so when I'm saying replace, it's also about the other side of jobs might come up and so on, please.
No. I'm saying, I was just going to say, see, AI is a horizontal technology. It's pretty much like computers, were like 20, 30 years ago. It's where computers are 30 years ago, where digital was 30 years ago, or where, before that you had electricity. So, it basically, it has applications everywhere, right? So you can use AI in mathematics, you can use AI in physics, you can use AI in any industry, you can use AI in finance, you could use AI in marketing, you could use AI in HR, you can use AI in the admission process. So AI is going to be in everything. It's such a sort of amazing technology.
But with that, because Naukri is sitting, it's monster in that way. You are sitting on a lot of signals and the data. So do you see any kind of change in terms of job posting from a corporate or maybe and job seeker side of it? Is there any change?
Already happening. See, one, of course, the requirement for AI professionals is going through the roof because every company wants to, use AI, implement AI, build AI. So the demand for people who are AI savvy, who are AI literate, people who can, do some kind of AI work is actually already skyrocketing on the platform. So we track job listings, we track across industry, by city, by functional area, and we've been doing it for the last 15, 17 years now. AI job requirements are 40% year on year, right? Not only are the jobs up 40% year on year, the salaries are also much higher than in other such jobs. At the same time, certain job roles will get hit, but it's a very crazy situation in the sense that we know that some people will get impacted because of it, right? Yeah. But at the same time, AI will create many new jobs, also in the roles in which people are going to get impacted.
Yes.
Right? So of course, AI will create all kinds of new jobs, and new things will become possible which are not possible earlier. But I was listening to this podcast of Mark Zuckerberg the other day. Mm-hmm. So he gave an example. He said, "Yeah, dekho, I have 3.5 billion or some users of Meta, right? I don't know. I can't offer customer service to 3.5 billion people, right? To put up a call center or to put up a support system for 3.5 billion people, if I have to do it through human beings, will cost me $20 billion a year. So I can't do that. I can't invest in it. But now I can use AI to automate 90%, to handle 90% of the queries, right? And for 10% of the queries, I don't mind investing $1 billion in humans. So that will create more jobs in customer service for humans. Because AI is going to result in costs going down, and as a result, everybody will be able to afford it, right? So we don't know where it's going to end, in the sense that in some companies, there'll be job losses in customer service because they will deploy AI. But in many other companies which don't offer customer service today, they will say, listen, maybe through AI we can offer customer service. It'll help our business. And it's okay for a lot of the queries we'll use technology, and for some high-end sort of customer service we'll use humans. Absolutely. And therefore that may end up creating more jobs in customer service as well over time. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So AI tutor for every Indian students. I saw your tweet. Is it really practical? Because when I saw, I was really fascinated to see that kind of tweet. How practical it is to empower every Indian student with the AI sort of tools?
I think it may be the only option. the reality of life in India is that outside the big cities, and if you go to places, like if you go to Bihar, if you go to large parts of UP, if you go to all the rural areas, for example, there is a shortage of teachers. Okay, there is no way to upskill the teachers who teach there. Infrastructure is very poor. Course material is not updated. We know what the situation is in the interiors in this country. It's expensive to impart high quality education. No, but not everybody in India can afford to pay 5,000 rupees a month, 3,000 rupees a month. The per capita income in Bihar, for example, is $800 a year. A year, right? So they can't afford to spend more than a couple of hundred rupees a month on education. Right? How do you impart high quality education? So I don't know how many people here know, but India is perhaps, the usage of ChatGPT is the highest in India already.
Yes.
Right? Globally, right? So where you have a good option, you don't necessarily need all this.
Absolutely.
Right? But where you have no option, I think this is the only option. This is the only way. So if for example, the government of India, forget about an AI tutor for every Indian. That is perhaps, maybe a lot of entrepreneurs are working on the idea and we'll get something over the next 2, 3, 4 years. But if today, the government of India were to say, we have 100 million kids in school. कि यार 100 रुपए per month में every kid or every student will have access to ChatGPT, premium version or whatever the sort of best version is. I think usage will explode in schools. And there are studies. Okay, there was an article in The Economist in Nigeria recently. They did a study and they gave ChatGPT to kids in schools. And within 6 weeks, in some schools, the learning outcomes improved by what would have otherwise taken 2 years.
Wow.
And there's a research paper on this study. So that's how, and maybe everybody will not learn, and maybe the teacher will help them how to use the AI, etc., etc. But just by giving them a tool which empowers them, right, and which places the entire world's intelligence on their fingertips, people who want to learn will learn. Right? Sure. Even if it's 20% of all students who sort of, benefit from it, it's worth it. And it's not that expensive. Yep. You can negotiate with these companies. You can, get corporates to sort of do some CSR. All kinds of models can be worked out to place ChatGPT, in the hands of every student in this country. It's very doable in my view.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I was reading, I don't know whether it's true or not, I have to verify. UAE government announced free ChatGPT for their citizen, paid version of ChatGPT for every citizen. Wow. So that's the Twitter, I saw it, yeah. I have to verify. But absolutely, I can keep chatting on this topic with you, but I can see the timer. But thank you so much, sir, for making it on this special chapter on behalf of Meritto and everybody. Thank you so much for coming down and spending time with us. I request you to be around until dinner so that people can meet you, interact you, and chat. It's going to be after 30 minutes or 1 hour and so. But great, thank you.
Thank you, Naveen, and all the best.
Thank you.